Hello everyone.
Francis, we are live.
Yeah. So hello everyone. I hope it's going to be a great session today. So before starting on the session, I would like to summarize a little bit about today's topic: visionary solution for global cyber risk. So to attain this topic today, I would be having Mr. Krishna with us. Krishna and me were being collaborated from past a year, working on various projects. So this topic is something where we can understand in detail with the experiences we had. So I hope Krishna would be here anytime. So let's get started with that.
Hey Francis.
Hey,
Hi,
hi
hi
Krishna,
everyone.
how are you?
Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are joining from.
It's a good evening for us. Yeah.
Okay, great.
So Krishna,
Great.
like before getting started, you can just give a very quick brief and we'll just get into this.
Introduction is it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, great. So I'm Krishna. I am the country head for Advintek for Malaysia and Philippines, where I drive the technology practice for Advintek within these two regions. And fortunately, we partnered with Xeron. Especially, we wanted to have cybersecurity practice into our 8 pillars of our Advantech solutions. Right. So I think I've been collaborating with Xeron from last 8-9 months, and amazing stuff. So maybe we can discuss that in the
Yeah.
subsequent part of the
Keeping
session.
with that conversation, Krishna, I would like to ask you. So we'll get started now. So,
Yep.
what are the emerging cyber threats or vulnerabilities do you believe pose the greater risk to the interconnected world? And what might be the innovations approaches are required to help to mitigate these risks? So, you can speak about that.
Sure, Francis. See, I could see that there are, especially for the cybersecurity, part, right? These are all major issues for all the regulated industries like banks, insurance, telco, and utilities, where you see the most confidential information being stored within the systems, right? And there are, especially I'll just give one of my experience with one of my client that I visited this week, right? They have tens of applications, tens of platforms to maintain, manage all of that data. And end of the day, they'll have to create a report by collecting from all of these particular system. And in the monthly basis, they have to send this particular report to the regulatory, right? Now that has become the biggest challenge. And every day we see a lot of new threats that are coming up, and the IT teams which are there in these particular organizations, they felt vulnerable. To be honest, not even the systems. They have to meet people, they have to create the data, they have to, capture the data, create the reports, and give it back to authorities. It's a big challenge, especially when you see a lot of new threats coming up, new type of threats coming up, especially in the connected world. If you see, Francis, every day there is a new system connected to this, to their entire landscape of
Right.
IT. A new user coming up with new devices, whatnot, right? So I feel that you know I feel that there needs to be a system or a platform that
Okay.
would capture all of this information and give a homogeneous dashboard or a collective report, for the different audiences or different roles within the organization, be it CISOs, be it risk, be it compliance, be it IT, admins and stuff like that, right? So
Okay.
that is something that is lacking in the industry. And of course the ever changing regulatory compliance reporting structure that they are seeking, right? So these are the primary things that I feel would be the need of an hour for these four regulated industries, Francis.
I guess that's been somewhere where your experience has really come into the picture to answer this. I feel it was like great one. And moving further, Krishna, like what do you think the cyber attacks becoming more sophisticated and frequent? And what can the government and industries and individual collaborate together in this ecosystem? What role should international cooperation play to make sure these efforts can be recognized?
See, that is one. I'm sorry. For every question that you have asked, I have one example to give.
Right.
Today, I'm in Philippines, Manila, there was a cyber threat for one of the I can't name the name, the agency name, but there is a cyber threat that they have publicly announced that we are going to reveal all the public data publicly, right?
Okay.
What they did, they have simply shut down the services, which is actually impacting all the public, right?
Okay.
And that is most crucial for all the employees within Philippines. Now they could have simply stopped it if they are able to monitor those cyber threats in real time. Number one. Number two, it's not, if it's not for real time, at least they should have a risk posture, being monitored, at least a week, man, right? Just because that they couldn't do, all the employees or all the government employees or the public who are employing and paying the money for the services that this particular agency is giving has to suffer. Now, government agencies, in my view, right? So other than some of the most important agencies, rest of the government agencies are not actually realizing the value of risk posture management. So
Right.
maybe they should start with a pilot. They should look at connecting at least few systems to monitor wherever they have critical infrastructure, right? For example, public information or any financial information that they are holding. So at least these systems needs to be monitored, uh, you know, in real time.
See,
Otherwise,
yeah.
end of the day, public has to suffer. So in my view, they should start with some sort of a pilot where they could maintain or monitor the at least few critical systems that they have in hand.
And Krishna, you have been in touch with few of the government bodies and the industries and many MNCs in your experience. So, how is the initiative for the most innovation technologies being catered in the market? How is the approach for these bodies to try them out? How was it? How do you feel? What was the response for them?
Yeah, see, okay. So I felt the day when okay, I can explain. I mean, at this point of time, I can't reveal the name again, but then again, I
Exactly.
can tell you. So one of the
Yeah.
government agency who agreed to do a POC with us, right?
Mhm.
Especially for Xeron cyber risk
Mhm.
posture management, they felt that the solutions that are there in the market today are not
Right.
flexible enough to customize to meet their actual needs. Number one. Number two, they felt that these are expensive, and number three, that they don't have enough support coming from product principals. That is why they have challenge in moving from existing vendor to a new vendor, right? Because why they are sticking to existing vendor? It's not that they are getting a lot of support. It's because that they are used to it, right?
Okay.
I feel that if there is a solution that can actually or an organization or a product that can actually give a 24/7 support, number one. Number
Mhm.
two, understand the actual pain that they are going through, and number three, understand why they are vulnerable. Give them what we call a posture, visualization that they need, so that boss, you are at 5% breachability, you are at 10% breachability. Because of these, this is, they are not unable to see that kind of a bigger picture at this point of time. So when we give them, this is how it is, you'll be able to achieve these kind of information that you wanted, then this is the way forward. So just install this, it will do the job for you. They really liked it, and they appreciated for the POC that we have done together.
Lovely, lovely. It's a great one. So, as you told the bigger picture, Krishna, see, right now, in the bigger picture, there's a great advancement happening in terms of AI and quantum computing. So, what would you say that how can we anticipate and prepare for the next generation of cyber threats? That's one. And what are the strategies can an organization adopt to stay ahead of these cyber threats? See, right now, we can see how AI is going on.
Correct. Definitely. I mean, AI is the a big thing that everybody talks, but only few implements, right? So I really request. I mean, I really recommend everyone to start adopting to it and see what magic that it does. And I still know for one of the CIO, he was asking, how come you got all of this data? You tell me, how are you able to see visualize this, whereas our standard VAPT is unable to get this information. So that's part of everyone's AI. I mean, it's not, if not for Jaron, every industry must follow this particular AI part. Number one. Number two is that it's all about uh, you know uh, 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 it's all about starting with something, right? What I say is, there is this word, I'm not able to get it. So you need to have a system which will help you to do proactive risk management, not reactive. When you
Okay.
have this proactive risk management within the
You can
systems that you have.
differentiate it. Krishna, you can differentiate how exactly you can.
Example, right? Instead of okay, I have got an issue, now tell me how do I resolve it, right?
Okay.
So that is reactive. Now you need to have a proactive system which will actually tell you, so you fix this, otherwise you may have these kind of issues. These are all proactive, right? You need to be proactive. So the systems needs to be proactive, the technology needs to be proactive enough to help the clients or the users to enable them to stop the issues or risks that I would say uh, uh, prevent them even before happening it, right?
Yeah. So, what would be the strategies you would suggest, or you would take your experience into this conversation? What would be the strategies you would say what organizations can be ahead of the cyber criminals in evolving the landscape? So, what would be those strategies you think our organization should follow or should adapt to these kind of things? So, what would you suggest?
I can tell you, keep adding layers of security. Number one, right? And you need to follow the recommendations for sure that the AI engine, whatever the AI engine that you are following, or the security systems that you are following, cyber security systems that you are following, you need to apply these particular recommendations without any delay. Number one, or systems who can utilize or apply the systems which actually understands your cyber risk or vulnerabilities, and help you to automate things for you, right? You can't just simply sit in front of that monitoring system all the time. So you
Right.
better have a system which can actually, or come up with the systems which can actually help you to do all of the jobs for you, right? So that's what I feel, that is something that every organization should adopt, that these are the systems, if there are any systems, I mean, I'm not telling Zeron cannot do, I'm just keeping Zeron aside. So you need to have system that can actually help you to prevent things for you, instead of uh, reacting to the system, reacting to the issues that has come up, right? So I
Right.
mean, because I am one of the guy who got impacted because of one of the government agencies' site is down for like 3 weeks.
3 weeks is
That's
a
bad,
big
right?
time. It's a
Yeah,
very big.
correct.
So, how did they come out of that scenario which was going on?
They have simply shut down all the servers. That's all. As of
All
now, no resolution yet.
so, so what would be the outcome of this when their government bodies have shut down their servers for 3 weeks?
They are applying all of these cyber risk postures
Okay.
right now, and then they are going to make the systems, services up and running, in maybe in a week or two. We don't know.
So, Krishna, see, one more question I have because right now it has been going around. How AI and cybersecurity going to combine together and make the difference? Like you have been into this, so you know how it works out. So, how the emerging of AI collaborating with cybersecurity, how it's going to help us out?
But typically, I mean, with the limited knowledge that I have, Francis, I can tell you, it's all about correlation of data that is coming up. The systems, I mean, the cybersecurity systems must understand different types of data that is coming up by being, transmitted by different types of systems that you might have, right? Understand patterns. Why this pattern, right? So today, when you see a lot of irregularities of in terms of this log information that is coming from SIM systems or SOAR systems, the system AI need to understand the patterns, and that has to push a signal to this cybersecurity systems saying that this is the new pattern that is coming up. Why don't you stop this? So there is a need of such data patterns to be identified, right? And also it's not just about a pattern always, right? If it is a new, unique way of coming up, then the system will be able, should be able to detect these kind of things as well.
So, so that's a great journey we're gonna see further. I see. So
Yeah.
moving further, Krishna, like what would you say? Privacy concerns are increasing at the odds with the need for the enhanced cybersecurity measures. How can we strike the right balance between the protecting personal and safeguarding against the cyber attacks?
I don't know. Can you repeat the question, Francis?
So it's like privacy concerns are increasing very rapidly. So
Correct.
what would be those cyber security measures? How can we strike the right balance between protecting personal data as well as safeguarding the cyber attacks as well?
Mm. So again, right? So you need to identify those critical systems. To be honest, if I am, as an organization, we what we do is we mark the critical systems where we see the personal data being stored. Number one, right? And we need to make sure that whether the data that I am storing today is actually following the compliance that I have to follow today. Malaysia has a certain compliance to RMIT compliance that needs to follow, right? And then the GDPR, then ISO 27001. There are certain compliances that are need to be followed. You need to have a system that actually understand all of these controls that I have for each compliance type that I have, right? If you just make sure that you are meeting the compliance, then you're good, already good with all of your personal data protection that is needed to have, right? So because these compliance are set by the industry leaders and the experts to safeguard all the personal data that is needed to be protected. So you need to have a system, again, you need to have a system that can help you to visualize what is your gaps in terms of compliance, such compliances, right? So yeah, that is something that is needed, and this keeps changing, Francis. Every month, maybe every 3 months, this keeps changing. You need to have systems that can actually adhere to these changes and flexible to change the controls. Then you're good.
So that's something I guess we are trying to do in the recent times. So how has been the change compared to the past few years? So we have been in the journey for long enough. We have seen the transitions have been happening on a yearly basis, on a quarterly basis. So in terms of the market right now, how are we standing in terms of the cybersecurity market, and how is the financial sector are looking towards it with the innovations which we have in the market right now?
Definitely, I mean, I can see, I mean, if not for quarterly, but I can tell you, compared to last year and this year, there is a lot of, awareness towards having a real time, monitoring capability that is needed from compliance, financial risks, and cyber risks that needs to be monitored by the organizations, right? So every C-level person or every security, CISO that I've met, so when we talk about why don't you have a system like this, we never know. It's always painful for us because today, earlier it used to be 3 months in 6 months. Now it has been reduced that they are generating these kind of reports every month. Probably in 3 quarters or 4 quarters of time, it will further reduce to weekly based reports. So yes, I see that there's a much of awareness that has come in because of the recent issues that we are seeing in the BFSI industry, especially in BFSI industry, right? Or if not, regulator industries like telco, banks, insurances, and utilities. Yeah.
Yeah. So Krishna, before putting the end to our conversation for today, I would just like to ask, what was the difference you have noticed? You've been working in Indian market for a good amount of time, and later you have moved further to the Malaysian and Philippines market. How is the adaptation of the cybersecurity as a service or as a platform? How good was adapting what happened when we see the differences between both the markets?
Uh, so okay, so cybersecurity is primarily being used by, as I mentioned, right, all these
Mm-hmm.
four industries primarily. But
Mm-hmm.
again, as a service, if you ask me, there is still a lot of roadmap for organizations to adopt that as a service. They still prefer to have systems that are sitting in their environment and working along with these guys, and on site, SOCs kind of stuff that they're still looking at. But yes, I would still see a certain amount of adoption towards it, and they want to explore more. They want to see something different than what is traditionally being there, with them today, right? So if there is
Right.
any innovative services, for example, I know Zaron provides various different services around cybersecurity, but especially in Southeast Asian market, including Indonesia, Philippines, and Malaysia and Singapore, clients are still preferred to have on-prem solutions where they expect the systems to be there at their particular site and drive all of this. But still, yes, some of the organizations are preferring to have something which is a plug and play.
Okay, I guess that was a great session, Krishna. Like, so much of knowledge has been shared in this, and as being the part of Xeron team, and it was great partnering with you. It's been a great journey I had. So moving further, I guess we'll be in Dubai until October 14th till 16th. We'll be in Dubai, where whoever the cybersecurity enthusiasts who are there in the market who are looking to make sure they can increase their reach. I guess they can meet teams around in Gitex, North Star, and we can get started from there as well.
Definitely, definitely. Let us know if you want us to join too.
Surely, surely, Krishna. Thank you so
Right.
much.
Okay. Okay.
Thank
Thanks, guys.
you. Bye.